Welcome to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and today is 1 Ounce Wednesday. On 1 Ounce Wednesday, I take a sample out of one of these boxes behind me, totally blind, don't know what it is. I pour it in a glass, I swirl it, I nose it, I taste it. I ultimately review it and give it a score. Every time I do 1 Ounce Wednesday, I tell myself that it's not going to be as long as the previous 1 Ounce Wednesday, which was way too long. But apparently, I have a hard time keeping things short, except for in the bedroom. These samples were supplied to me by viewers and patrons and friends and distillers, and some of them were just samples that I poured into bottles myself, just to see what they would score blindly. Let's get this 1 Ounce Wednesday started. Got one. America. Hiding it. Hiding it. Hidden. It's hidden. All right. In this glass we have a whiskey, a blind whiskey. What could it be? Who knows? But I would imagine that it is, wow, I don't know, either aged in new charred oak for an extended period of time, or possibly finished, maybe a finished whiskey. Who knows? In order to get this process started, let's go in for a nose. Ooh, oaky. Oaky and cherry. A little bit of cherry bubblegum. It's like you were a bench warmer in Little League and you duct taped sandpaper to your bottom and you just wiggled your butt for like 6 innings straight. Just itching to get into the game. But the only thing that happened was you created friction between your bottom and the oak bench. And what did you forget? That in your other pocket was a little bit of cherry big league chew. The aroma coming from your behind would probably be charred oak big league chew. That was a terrible example, I'm sorry. The nose is throwing me for a familiar loop. There's some like old fermented pineapples in here. There is something extra familiar on the nose of this that I can't quite put my finger on. Part of me is thinking like a Brown-Forman product. Another part of me is like, could this be an MGP product? It does have maybe a tinge, a little bit of a tinge of weird kind of like funkiness to it, which could lend itself to being maybe a weeded product, or maybe possibly throwing left-handed to home plate from 395 feet in center field, which is what some people would consider to be a long shot. Maybe a craft distillery, but I'm leaning more towards maybe not. 1 Ounce Wednesday, down the hatch. Oh wow. Unique. That is unique. It is good, but there's a bit of in there. Proof point over 100, but not like scorchingly hot, not a ton of ethanol. There's like some sweetness, a bit of savoriness, and then kind of like a flood of oak coming to the rescue of where there needed to be oak but wasn't. That is very well balanced. The way that it touches the tip of the tongue and the flavors kind of rush back down the sides of the jowls. Some bourbons tend to go off the lane and into the gutter, but even without bumpers, this bourbon is managing to like skid the edge of the lane all the way down the sides of the tongue and pushing the boundaries of what a bourbon palate can produce before it curves back at the last moment and hits directly between the pointy pin and the one next to it, but kind of behind it. If you're a bowler, you know what I mean. And then strike. Wow, that was a strike. Great job, bourbon. Way to go, Donnie! This is not nom, this is bowling. There are rules. Then I go back to the nose and I pick up a kind of like a craftiness to it, but I'm not picking that up on the palate. This whiskey has me confused in a very good way. The more I nose it, the more I'm thinking that the craft kind of note that's coming off of the nose isn't pleasing me as much as I want it to. And I'm not sure if the palate is disguising that note because it's not there, or if I'm just not tasting it in this tasting, if that makes sense. final sip and we give it a score. I don't know how I didn't taste that before. There is an underlying weirdness to it that's not exactly making me the happiest person on the planet. I still enjoy it, but it does get a bit funky on the mid palate where it kind of dips and dives into like maybe a weeded or just a funky, bit farmy flavor profile that on some days I might not mind at all, on other days I might love, but tonight it throws me for a bit of a loop that I'm not a super big fan of. First 2 sips didn't really pick up on it. Third sip was a little bit bigger, and sometimes you have to take a bigger sip to get a bigger view of the picture. And the bigger view of the picture was zooming in, not as big of a fan of whatever this is as I originally thought. I'm gonna say that I like it. It is good. Whatever's in this glass could be literally anything, I do not know, but I give it a score tonight of 7.5. 7.5. It is very well balanced. It does a lot of things correctly and nice. Overall, a pleasant experience, but the flavor profile isn't necessarily directly up my alley. If the price is right on this, then I would like to have a bottle of it for those occasions when I'm in the mood for this flavor profile. But if this is an extra allocated whiskey or something that the price is typically jacked up on, or if it's impossible to find, then I'm not gonna sweat over not having a bottle. Now we've reached the part of the video where I reveal the sample, look extra stupid, and then make a bunch of excuses trying to redeem myself and look extra super smart. Today, on 1 Ounce Wednesday, we were drinking Willet Burai, 104 proof from Ryan McCauley. Ryan McCauley, thank you so much. Willet Burai. Willet Burai. What the hell is even that? Willet Burai. This bottle contains a blend of 10-year-old MGP rye and 6-year-old Willet bourbon. Offhand, I don't know what the MSRP was on this bottle, and I have no clue what it's going for on secondary, but let me say this, something I never would have got my hands on without a sample of, so thank you so much, Ryan, for sending a sample of it, but not something I'm going to be chasing. That is a very unique pour. My name is Matt, this is ADHD Whiskey, this was 1 Ounce Wednesday. Thank you for watching, hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Like I always say, keep your head in the clouds but your mind on mixing things together that are kind of the same but different, like bourbon and rye, or milk and sour cream, socks and sandals, minivans and convertibles, smelling salts and table salt, diving boards and charcuterie boards, because if you offer me a charcuterie board, I'll dive right in.